Hey, folks. Thanks a bunch for tuning into our podcast. I am absolutely buzzing to be here today. My name's Natasha. I'm an English teacher at UnifyHub and host of our new UnifyHub podcast. So each month, we'll be inviting a new guest speaker from our army of educators and chatting about different topics. We've got a really diverse team of teachers from every corner of the globe, so it's a great chance for you, as students, to get to know us and, of course, brush up on your listening and vocabulary skills in the process. So, as Children's Day is the relevant theme at the moment, we decided to kick off our podcast with a heart-to-heart about kids. Right, where's my parenting manual? So, are you ready to meet our first guest? You're in for a treat because she's got a wealth of teaching and travel experience, someone who's really inspired me professionally and is one of the most practical people I've ever met. Someone I'm also lucky enough to call a friend. She personally introduced me to the Moscow Mule and also has an uncanny love for avocados. Just saying. So, Bridgid, do you want to break the ice with our listeners and say a little bit about yourself? Sorry, I had to mention the avocados as it's not on your LinkedIn profile.
Thank you, Natasha. Hello. My name is Bridgid. Yes, I do love avocados, but let me clarify. It's because my family has an avocado orchard, so I feel I know good avocados. I'm a Kiwi. I'm from New Zealand, but I also lived in Australia for 20 years. And now I'm living and working around sort of Europe and sometimes Southeast Asia. And as Natasha said, we're here today because it's Children's Day. I am a mum. I'm a mum to a young adult now, though. I still think she's a teenager, but no, she's a young adult, Sophie. And she lives in Rome. She's studying at university in Rome, which is not a bad place to have to go and visit.
Oh, that can't be too bad, Bridgid. You know, just hopping to Rome to see my young adult studying.
Yes, not bad. And yes, and last year, Natasha, you got to also visit Rome.
Yeah, it was really cool. So I actually went to stay with Bridgid for a couple of weeks in Rome, and it was quite funny because usually when the adults go away for a trip, the kids all get together in the house and have a party. But this time it was like Bridgid said, yeah, so my daughter Sophie's going away from the flat. So do you want to come for a couple of weeks and we'll just have a blast? So it was like the other way round, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Having a party while Sophie was away.
We were working too. So
we were working. Yeah, of course. I remember working very hard from the top of a rooftop bar in Rome.
Oh,
yes.
Fantastic! Yeah. So just a little bit more about me. I've been teaching for well over 20 years. I lived in Sydney for almost 20 years, and I actually worked in the same school the whole time. Teaching primarily Cambridge exams. I was also a Cambridge examiner and the assistant director, and I just had a fabulous time. It was such a good school to work with. Then COVID hit while I was on holiday in Europe and couldn't get home, and started working for UnifyHub, and I've been a digital nomad roaming the world for the last, I guess it's 4 and a bit years, and been to some amazing places and got to know some amazing students over that time. So I think I'm very lucky. Now I'm in Cyprus and having a blast here.
Wow, Bridgid, you know, I think you've seen more of Europe than most Europeans, actually. You really have like hot-footed it to so many different places. So cool. And I'm quite lucky because I'm always following your tracks and thinking, at some point I'm going to pop back in again to see you. Just popping over to Montenegro to see Bridgid or...
Yeah, Montenegro is one of my favorites.
It's your soul country, I think, isn't it? You said you really loved it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, Bridgid, about Children's Day then. So I always thought we didn't celebrate Children's Day in England, but when I looked it up, actually, we do celebrate Children's Day. It's just that it's not a big thing. Technically, we do have a Children's Day, but I've never celebrated it. So I'm feeling a little bit hard done by that. I've never had a present growing up for Children's Day. It's just not a big thing. What about in New Zealand?
I was the same as you. I was thinking Children's Day, I don't think so. And so I did a bit of research as well because I never celebrated it. But I found out we've only been celebrating it since 1991. And I left New Zealand a long time ago. And apparently, completely different day though. I'm not sure in England when you celebrate it, but in New Zealand, it's on the first Sunday in March every year.
Okay.
And just a little bit of interest in New Zealand, we also have the language Maori, and children in Maori is tamariki. So it's like Tamariki Day.
Oh, that's so cool. I find the whole Maori coach culture and that it's just fascinating. It's very fascinating, Bridgid. Very cool. And let's talk about then traveling with children. I'm going to skip to the third point. So I know you've been on quite a few foreign adventures with Sophie, and
Yeah.
she's also traveled a lot. She's very, very nomadic, very global in her lifestyle. So, what countries and cities has Sophie liked the most, and what was the most memorable or enjoyable trip you took together?
Um, One of the most memorable was actually when she was so she was actually only still a baby, about 14 or 15 months. She'd just started walking, and we went to Argentina for a month. Oh, fantastic.
Wow.
We were treated so well. Children are so special there. We could go out for dinner, and other families at tables would just take Sophie to them, and we would just sit there having dinner ourselves. It was fantastic.
Wow. I noticed that
Such a nice
actually.
time.
Sorry to pop in. I noticed that in Peru, Bridget, because that was my first experience of Children's Day. Before that, I never knew it existed. And everyone just goes crazy for Children's Day, really celebrates kids. And it
Yeah,
just made me think it's lovely. Latin American way is lovely.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, more recently, my daughter was actually in Cyprus last week,
Okay.
and it really made us think about one of the best times we had during COVID, actually, during the pandemic. We found
Yeah.
ourselves in Greece and in Crete for
Okay.
a while, and oh, it was just fantastic. Admittedly, it was during the pandemic, so it was very, we got to just enjoy an island.
Fantastic.
It was blissful. It was
Okay.
absolutely amazing.
So definitely, per Bridget's recommendation, Crete and Argentina must get on that bucket list.
Yeah.
And a bit more of a philosophical question now, Bridge. So,
Mhm.
what do you think travel teaches kids on both a practical level? I know you're extremely practical, and on a personal level.
Um, I just think travel is just, well, obviously because it's so important to me, and Sophie's just grown up doing trips, and also, um, you know, we lived in Australia, but I'm from New Zealand. My husband was from Scotland, and so we would go back to both places. So we traveled for family a lot, but then also traveled to places we wanted to visit. And it gave her a broader understanding of the world. She's so fascinated by people.
Oh,
She's very accepting of people.
wow.
She loves to learn about new cultures. And that's why she's in Italy. She's studying a course it's taught in English. It's mainly for international students called Global Humanities. So I
Wow.
guess her childhood of travel led her there.
Wow. I think that open-mindedness, tolerance, like you said, is something that you, we didn't necessarily have the opportunity to travel as much. This generation is so different, Bridget, isn't it now? These kids nowadays, the world is smaller, everything's globalized.
The world is their oyster. But admittedly, my parents traveled with me as a child. We
Nice.
traveled around in a bus in Europe for a year when I was 5.
Wow.
So I always had the travel bug. So I think
You really have.
so. Sophie didn't have much choice.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, Aya's like, well, my daughter's 7 and she's
Yeah.
her dad's Moroccan and she was born in Peru, as you know. So she's like,
Yeah.
well, guys, I'm a bit of Peru and I'm a bit of Morocco and a bit of England. And these
Yeah.
other 7-year-olds are looking at her like, what? She just feels like she really feels quite global, even for a 7-year-old. So
Yeah.
I think it's
Amazing.
precious. Okay, Bridge, I'm going to go to the quick fire blitz questions
Oh.
now. So I'm going to ask you, we're going to finish up with a quick lightning round.
Yeah,
I'll ask you 10 rapid fire questions and you just say the first thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, favorite dish?
I'm going to have to say 2. Sorry. Because I'm here at the moment, I can get falafel. I love falafel. Pita falafel, but I grew up on a farm. Roast lamb. Oh,
Oh, you've told me that before. I remember having a very deep conversation about roast lamb with you.
yeah.
Brilliant. Okay,
But I don't get that very often, unfortunately.
favorite slang word.
Oh, this one comes from my daughter. She writes it everywhere, and if I say it back to her, she just laughs. Slay. I love it.
Slay. What does it
Yeah,
mean?
just it's great. It's
Ah,
you can just write slay. That was fantastic.
totally slay. I'm going to try
Yeah,
out later. Totally
yeah.
slay. Okay, dream vacation spot.
I think for years and years when I lived in the same place, it was always Bora Bora in French
Uh-huh.
Polynesia. But I have to say now it's actually going home back to New Zealand because I don't get to
Oh,
go there so often. And where my family live is the most beautiful beach. It's paradise. So home, actually.
bless you. Yeah, perspective is everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, are you a morning or a night person?
Morning.
Oh, easily. That was very quick. Last book you read. Last book.
I'm just finishing off. I'd say this is what we'd call a beach read, and I'm at the beach, so it's perfect. It's
Okay.
called Thursday Murder Club. It's a very popular series in the UK.
Nice. Nice.
I would have loved to have said a more intellectual one, but hey, I'm living at the beach.
Okay, favorite movie.
Oh, it has been this one for quite a while. The Departed.
Ah, yeah. It's still ranking number one then, The Departed. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of good ones. Last year, I saw Past Lives, which is mind blowing. I loved that film, so I can also. That's the most recent best one I've seen.
Okay, Bridge, one thing you can't live without.
Ooh.
Avocados.
No, I have to live without those. Um, Not counting obviously your phone and computer. That
Uh-huh.
doesn't. That's just life now.
Yeah.
I have to say, because what I do most of the time is walk. Wherever I live, I walk and walk every day. And so a really good pair of trainers I have to have because
Ah,
I have like some issues with my feet. So a really, really good pair of trainers.
so practical. It was going to be something practical. I knew it. Something really tangible. Okay, number 8. Most inspiring person in your life.
It has to be Sophie.
Oh,
We've been through a lot in the last 4 years. It hasn't
uh-huh.
all just been travel and lights, and she has gone from a 17-year-old to a 22-year-old just amazingly, and she's resilient. She's managed to stay positive and,
Oh,
make the most of, some really, really tough situations. And
bless
now,
her.
yeah, living in
Bridge,
home and, yeah, just experiencing so much.
bless her. And
Mhm.
your favorite hobby? Walking?
Walking.
Of
Yeah.
course. Walked
As
everywhere.
soon
I
as, as
I
soon as we
actually
finish
did.
this.
I tell everyone, Bridget, I tell everyone, do you know what I did? I went to see Bridget in Rome and she gave me an entire walking tour of Rome around the whole. I saw everything. We
Yeah.
walked everywhere. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's yeah, as soon as we finish this, I'm walking down to the water. We're gonna have a little wander along the
Fantastic.
coast.
Okay, last one, number 10. What are you dreaming about right now?
Oh, I don't know why this just came to mind. Ice cream.
Ice cream?
It's too early. It's only 9:20 in the morning. Oops.
No, I reckon you can have ice cream, Bridge. Go for it. Who says? Who says no, eh? Well, guys, thank you very much for listening. Please tune in next time to meet our second guest and dive into a whole new topic. Have a great day, everyone. Take it easy. Ciao for now.
Bye.